have as part of my work on the Rev team is to help organize all of our Careers in Student Affairs Month activities through the national office. And so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to take a look at the Careers in Student Affairs Month website. And so this is the Careers in Student Affairs Month website. So Careers in Student Affairs Month is a month-long initiative each October dedicated to celebrating careers in student affairs, education and awareness about the profession, and engaging all people engaged in the profession, from undergraduate students and graduate students who are interested in joining the field to senior level and vice presidents of student affairs at the very top level of the field, and everyone anywhere in between. Specifically, we look to celebrate the field of student affairs, provide professional development opportunities for individuals who are either interested in joining the field or already in the field, encourage and promote the profession in order to help grow the field of student affairs and higher education, and create spaces for folks to really discuss important topics in the field. Everything that you all shared earlier about your concerns about just life in general, about living in these United States, are important topics to our students and to the field of student affairs as well, because all of these things affect our lives and our students' lives. This year's theme for Careers in Student Affairs Month is Inclusion, Innovation, and Impact. And so we're focusing on the positive impact that students and student affairs professionals have on the field, both on their students and on their peers, and on the field as a whole. So how do we empower and encourage the members of our profession at every level, whether they're emerging professionals or they have been part of the field for their entire careers, to share their intentions and their passion about the field, how they got involved, how they learned about the field, and how they continue to maintain that passion throughout their career. So a few of the ways that we do some content through the national office are through blogs on the NASPA website, free webinars and webcasts that we do throughout the month of October. Right now, the recordings of last year's webinars are still on the website. As you can see, the deadline to submit for webinars for this year closed yesterday. However, if anyone on the webcast is interested in submitting a webinar, I only pulled the applications today, so there's still some time. Please reach out to me if you're interested in submitting something, and we can work that out. But every Wednesday or Tuesday, kind of depending on people's availabilities, we will have a live webinar throughout the month of October. Every year we do one webinar for sure with Dr. Kevin Kruger, who was NASPA's president and the NASPA board chair. Last year was Dr. Penny Rue. This year it will be Dr. Denzel Sweet. And so they talk about, the current state of student affairs, what are some major topics impacting the field currently, and how everyone within our field can make an impact. We also do a photo challenge. I'm working currently with our marketing communications team to finalize the photo challenge calendar for this upcoming year. And so we're hoping to have all of that information up no later than next Monday. But this, you can see some ideas from last year. So you can always pull this off and use it as some inspiration for some ideas for this year, and get your creative juices flowing. We also offer a discount on one of the publications through NASPA's bookstore, Careers in Student Affairs, a holistic guide to professional development in higher education. So if you're interested in yet another book that could be a good option for you for professional development, I would highly suggest you take a look at that, as well as some campus resources. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and talk a little bit about what you all can do as part of Careers and Student Affairs Month. So as Jordana shared earlier, you don't have to do just some of these things that are on the website. Any of the events that are listed on the submission form that Jordana shared earlier are great ideas to do for Careers and Student Affairs Month on your own campus. The purpose of this is for you to get to know your fellow grad students on campus, for those of you who are first year students, get to know your fellow grads on campus, get to know the new undergrads that you're meeting if you are on a new campus for your grad work, get to know the professional staff on your campus a little bit better, and really share about NASPA's resources around Careers and Student Affairs Month, but also NASPA's resources overall. So any of the events that Jordana shared earlier are great ideas for Careers and Student Affairs Month, as well as the rest of the year, as long as you kind of tailor that event to how folks can get involved in the field. So if you're interested in doing a brown bag lunch, you can do some roundtable discussion on topics in the field that are particularly relevant to you, your cohorts, the staff on your campus, the students on your campus, and how you all can work together to continue the work around that particular topic. You can Once our webinar series are up, you can do a webinar viewing on the day and time if that works for y'all, or you can take the recordings of those and do a showing of that webinar for your cohort or folks on your campus who may be interested in that topic or all of those topics. So really any of those things are available for you to do. And obviously we're also looking for folks to have a little bit of creativity. So if you have a really great idea for Careers and Student Affairs Month, we want you to share that with us and share that with your fellow GAPs. One thing that I want to note is that if you all are doing any events on campus where you would like some sort of NASPA collateral, some brochures or information about how to become a NASPA member, information about our upcoming events or any of our swag that we may be able to send you, you can touch base with me and I will get that sent out to you. We'll get you all my contact information before the end of the call. The only thing that I ask for you to do is tell me how many people you are expect to attend, what the focus of the event is, and where I can send you those materials. So if we want to use this time to talk a little bit about Careers and Student Affairs Month, open it up to some questions. If y'all have some questions, maybe share some ideas that you already have for Careers and Student Affairs Month or what's been done on your campus in the past. Let's chat. I hate talking at people. It's boring.
Count to 17, Colleen. With a straight face. Hey, Matt.
Hi, I have a question. So I also serve as the Student Affairs Graduate Association's Vice President for Professional Development on my campus. What I'm doing with that is I'm looking to put on a presentation, I think it's in 2 weeks, which is right at the end of September, but also I think it's like the day before October. And it's titled Creating a Unique Graduate Experience, where I'm kind of incorporating different associations, how to get involved, how to reach out to faculty and staff about doing research, presenting, basically everything there is to getting involved and to create a unique graduate experience. Is that something that could count towards this requirement?
Yes, absolutely. I think especially for those of you who maybe are at schools where it's not a big NASPA school. I know Colleen in the last meeting talked about like schools that are like NASPA schools or some are the ACPA schools. I think at the end of the day, for grad students especially, and for new professionals or undergraduate students, I think sharing the importance of professional associations overall is a really good experience and topic to tackle. I share this all the time, but I'm still part of professional associations that are outside of student affairs that are still very enrollment management based, mainly because I'd like to maybe go back to that field at some point. So it's a way for me to keep up with the research and the topics that are happening in that space, even though I'm not working in that area every single day. So let us know, if we can help share any talking points just in general about NASPA, about why being in a professional association can be helpful, or why that can be really part of your graduate experience. Like, a lot of people also feel like grad school is like go to class, write papers, read books, boring, never sleep, turn everything in, panic at the last minute. But your graduate experience can and should be as varied as you are able to make it, within whatever, that space is.
Awesome. Thank you. And yeah, I'll definitely reach out to Colleen for all the NASPA swag and everything. So thank you.
Absolutely. Anyone else already have something in mind that they're planning that they'd like to share? Or do you have a question, Michael? Michael and then Shin.
Okay, so I just have an idea that I was considering doing. So here at ODU, we very encourage people to use a Kuhoi, mainly because I work for housing. When it comes to internships, so I wanted to do. I'm also currently interning at career development services. So we're already doing like career and accounting fair. So I wanted to combine it. And I already talked to the director, but I wanted to do an event about like internship 101, and I want to incorporate like NASPA in there, because the more I read in our group messages and our Wednesday emails, I'm realizing that there's such a wide variety of internship opportunities that aren't just based on your school or your region. And so I think it would be very important for, at least for my school, we're a minority serving institution, and we have a lot of students that come from just the surrounding areas, as well as students that are like military based. So some have experience traveling to other states, but I think it would be important, at least for my school, to educate people on what opportunities are available outside for professional development outside of just conference attendance. So like having the GAP that I currently have, or like all the other conference interns you can do, as well as ACP, like all other ones that aren't just NOTA and a Kuhoi. And so for either you or Colleen, if you guys have any resources as to like what internships as well as professional opportunities that NASPA offers. So that could be anything from internships to committees you can be on, things like that, that our fellow grads here can join and become a part of, that isn't just conference attendance. Because we just completed our professional development plan, had to turn in. I've talked to a lot of my fellow cohort, and most of them they just put nothing but, I'm going to a conference, I'm going to a conference, I'm doing an internship at an office here in our campus. And so I think for me, I want to provide something that shows them outside opportunities, outside of just attending a conference, as professional development. However, I have gotten kind of confused about some of the internships that we've been talking about in the group me, and like what the differences are.
Sure.
So if you guys have brochures or can direct me to where on the website to look to get better clarification on things, so that I can, accurately present that would be great. Also, if it would be okay to share a PowerPoint with you all and see if you can go through and approve it, see if I'm, if I'm representing the organization correctly.
Yeah.
Would be appreciated.
Email me, email Colleen. I put her email in the chat, and I'll, you can find her on the NASPA website, and she's also on Facebook. NASPA has a lot of internship opportunities internally. I will tell you, most of them are unpaid. You are there for the experience. But yes, I cannot stress enough, and please ingrain this into the brains and minds and hearts of your fellow grad students. Your professional development and your worth as a emerging SA pro should not be based on how many conference name tags you are able to collect, because conferences are expensive. And I know a lot of people feel like they're not getting professional development if they are not physically attending something or like going somewhere. I want people to start getting away from that notion. This is professional development, what we're doing. We are networking right now. We're learning from one another. Reading an article that I post on Facebook is professional development. And so I think expanding people's ideas of what professional attending a conference is a wonderful privilege. And if I could just find money out of my own personal pocket, like if I win the lottery, I'll tell y'all right now, this is being recorded, I will personally fund each and every one of my gaps in the 1920 cohort to attend a conference of their choice, all expenses paid, unless that's like a winnings of less than $1 million, in which case I'll probably just give you all some pocket money to like go buy something nice. But I think a lot of people are concerned that if they are not able to attend the conference, that they somehow are lacking that professional development experience that their colleagues and their peers have. And so if there's a way for you to share that, one, you need to believe that yourself, right? Like you need to understand that that is 100% professional development isn't actually just physically attending, but you're right that it is internships and it's a lot of different opportunities out there. I will also say for internships, a lot of people look to the functional areas that they are comfortable in and not always the functional areas that they might want to experience later on. So even if like your direct path after this is to continue working in residence life, it doesn't mean that you can't maybe look at an internship opportunity in policy, right? Or just a lot of different places that you can look for that. Idealist.org is another space. I know a lot of people don't often look there, but Idealist has a lot of higher ed based internships, a lot of them here on Capitol Hill, that might be a good way to get outside of that box. And, you know, as we get closer to like January, when everybody's kind of looking for that, I'll start posting a lot of these things. I did that in last year's GAP cohort when I'm like, look at this internship, look at this job. It's 100% outside of your like, you know, scope of what you might be thinking of. But I think one of the things that's been really great about the involvement of higher ed and student affairs as a profession over the years is that people have started looking outside of the box of what they're comfortable with. And so I will encourage you all to do that. I myself, like I said, spent the first 15 years of my career working on a college campus and did not expect to continue working in higher ed in a nonprofit setting. But it has worked out really well for me as far as the professional development has gone. And Colleen, I know you've had a different career path as well. And Colleen actually graduated with her master's in higher education, like many of you all are working right now. And Colleen, I don't know if you want to share your own professional path really quickly.
Sure. So going off of what Jordana just said, one of the things regarding internships really quickly, one thing that I would also suggest is looking at internships in nonprofits that are related to the area of the field that you're interested in. So if you're interested in working with the LGBTQ community on campus, look at the Human Rights Campaign, or look at GLAAD or the Victory Fund, or LGBT organizations, because a lot of them will still do work around education. Or if there is, you know, if you're interested in work with immigration rights, or students who are documented or students who are undocumented, look at nonprofits working on immigration policy, and see if they have internships available as well, because those are all things that overlap with your career working with students, if those are areas that you're interested in working in. Before I went back to grad school, I worked for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Delaware, working with at-risk youth who identified as LGBTQ. So the majority of my students, in addition to identifying as LGBTQ, were youth from quote unquote untraditional, non-traditional home settings. So they may have been in the foster care system, or they may have been living in single parent households, or living with a grandparent, or may have been emancipated. There were lots of different sort of situations that they were in. And so working with them and working with my students, working with my volunteers was a wonderful experience. And I worked there for 3 years before realizing I needed to go back for my master's degree in order to really make a bigger difference in people's lives. And so that's when I went back to school for my master's. But, you know, there is no right or wrong way to start your career. So whether you are right out of undergrad and you're going right into your grad work and you're getting your professional development in this way, and this is the right path for you. And if you're not right out of undergrad, that's good too. That's great. It is not the way that you take it, it's what you do with your path. One thing that I would always do when I was in grad school was I would start my day like eating breakfast and drinking my coffee and reading the Chronicle of Higher Education and Inside Higher Ed, just to kind of see what was going on in the field and what was going on in the news, because that's a great way to stay abreast of what's going on off campus, outside of your campus, but keeping up to date with what's going on nationally, and seeing how it may affect your own campus community and the students that you're working with. That's professional development. I sat there in my PJs, drinking a cup of coffee, and just scrolling through Chronicle of Higher Ed. That's professional development. You don't have to go to a conference in order to develop your skills and your knowledge. You can sit on your couch in your leggings, watching a webinar, reading an article, talking to us. So
100%. Thank you so much, Colleen. Does anyone else have something that they want to share, or any sort of parting words before we come to the close of our call this afternoon? Colleen shared a lot of wise sort of, motivational poster moments there, that that we certainly want to always echo, and again, like, both of us are always also 100% available if you do have questions about the work you're doing on your campus, even if it is personal to you specifically, or how we can help you do your job as a GAP better, to make sure that you're getting the word out, not just about NASPA, but about, Michael, like you mentioned, all of these outside opportunities, like outside of ACUOY, outside of NOTA, where are other places for that? There isn't one comprehensive place on the NASPA website for these things, which is why I sort of like ad hoc post them as they come up. But I do have another student who just reached out to me about internship stuff. So Michael, and if anybody else would like some information about all the variety of internships that NASPA has available, at least for the 19-20 year, because they do sometimes change depending on funding and needs, just send me an email so that way I can make sure to connect you with this information. Well, if there isn't anything else, I will give everybody 3 minutes of their afternoon back. Thank you again so much. I've recorded the part of this meeting, and we'll hopefully have some of these notes available to you all. Majority of this will be reflected in tomorrow's email. And again, if you have any questions or if you have any needs, just make sure you reach out and contact me. And thank you for taking the time to join us this afternoon. Have fun with your CSAM events. Have a good afternoon, y'all.